Welcome to the first episode of Friday's Check Hooks. Today we are going to discuss two different topics, but before we get to that, please remember to like and subscribe. Uh, Leave a comment below. Follow us on all types of social media at 3D Boxing Blog. So remember to do that. First item on the docket today is that, hey yo, it's AB, Adrian Broner. AB, the problem, clearly has some problems he's dealing with. The Can Man has, on several different occasions, lashed out on social media, crying out for help, tweeting that he doesn't want to live anymore, that no one cares about him, this and that. Let's remember to pray for him. And AB, I just want to let you know that no matter what your problem is, no matter what your issues are, give them all to Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is much bigger than your issues. He's much bigger than your problems, and He can handle them for you. You don't have to fight them on your own. So let's remember to keep AB in our prayers and just pray for the best. First item we want to talk about today in regards to AB is this retirement. We think he'll be back. We're pretty confident that AB will not only be back, but we'll see the problem again before the end of 2018. He's only 28. He's coming off a draw with Vargas, which he looked pretty good in, especially in the second half of the fight. It was a fight that many people thought he would lose. He fought really well in the second half of the fight, and he fought a bigger man than Jesse Vargas. Jesse Vargas is no slouch. He's a good fighter. He knocked out Saddam Ali, who went on to win a title at 154. So it's a pretty good performance. Broner is still probably one of the three biggest stars in American boxing out of the professional American fighters. He's probably alongside Deontay Wilder. He's probably number two, honestly, behind Wilder as the biggest draw in American boxing. He is Errol Spence and Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman, who's on maternity leave. But Adrian Broner sells tickets. He sells tickets and people tune in to watch him. So, I mean, behind Wilder, he still has star power as one of the biggest names in American boxing, at least. So we don't think that retirement is permanent. So that raises the next question. When he does come back, at what weight should he come back at? 147 is loaded, and he's already been destroyed by Porter, and fought with Vargas to a draw. Now Vargas is another fighter at that level who's just below the world class level. I shouldn't say that. He's just a notch below the most elite fighters in the division. I mean, Vargas is a handful, but he wouldn't be favored to beat Danny, Errol, Porter, Thurman, or any of those names, or Crawford. And Vargas fought to a draw with him, and Broner's basically on the same level as Vargas. So where does Broner go from here? 147 seems he's small for 147. With the amount of talent in there, 147 is not the right fit for him. 140 is better. You know, he looks good at 140. He can make the weight. Although there's not really much star power at 140. There's Regis Prograis. There could be promotional problems there. And even Prograis in himself, although a great fighter, still not a big name. So that's probably not the best weight class for him to fight in. And I ask this question in all seriousness. Broner came into the fight with Mikey Garcia, which was perceived at that time, probably still is, the biggest fight of his life. It was really a make-or-break fight. Broner had fallen just short with the other elite names he fought, Maidana and Porter and so on. And this was an opportunity for him to get his name right and beat a world-class opponent. He came into that fight at 138 pounds. He weighed in at 138, just 3 pounds above the lightweight limit of 135, and about 2 full pounds under the 140 contracted weight of that fight. He told Paulie Malignaggi that he made 140 easily. They made the weight easily, that it wasn't difficult. He came in at 138. So, and I might be crazy, and leave your comment below if you think I'm absolutely insane. Can he make 135? In all seriousness, if he made 138 easily, which is what he told Paulie. Could he get back down to 135? Now he fought there twice, against DeMarco and Gavin Reese, I believe. I'm sure someone will fact check me on that. But he could be a real force at 135. He would be massively strong and massively powerful. Remember, Marcos Maidana, who's been in the ring with everyone, said that Broner hit the hardest. And that was at 47. So if you put him back down at 35, if he could make 35, which, again, I don't know, you would have that kind of punching power at 35. He has the speed and the skills, and he'd be massively strong at that size. You would have a massive power and strength advantage over anyone in the weight class. Now, we know that he can't beat Mikey, but Easter, Loma, there's names for him to fight there. A fight with those guys would be a draw. He could go back down to 35 and fight Easter. After Easter loses to Mikey in Ohio, it would sell, and we'd watch it. So, there's fights, and there's money there. Can he make 135? Again, he got down to 138 for the Mikey Garcia fight. It's only 3 pounds. And he said he got there easily. So, an extra 3 pounds? What if he hired the famous nutritionist Mackie Shilstone, who's worked with athletes of all stripes? He's worked with Roy Jones, he's worked with Bernard Hopkins, Antonio Tarver, he's worked with all these guys. What if AB hired him? Could he get him in a nutrition program and get him down to 135, which he wasn't that far off from when he fought Mikey Garcia, which he said he made easily? Because if Broner's going to come back, and he's going to be a world champion again, and he's going to live up to that potential, it's not going to be at 47, and it's not going to be at 40. If he can make 35, he can make a legitimate run in that weight class. Especially with Mikey wanting to do all types of crazy things, he could have some staying power there. If I said it to you, he's going to fight Linares at 135 or Easter at 135. I don't see why he couldn't win those fights or be very competitive. You know, what fight do you like better for Broner? Which one would you give him a better chance to win? Robert Easter or Jorge Linares? Or Keith Thurman and Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence? I mean, he'd get blown out in those fights. The fights at 135, the power, the size, the speed, the skill set, he could be dangerous. That brings us to the next point we wanted to bring up about Adrian Broner, who said he retired and that he was done with it. Is Adrian Broner a Hall of Famer? This is going to be surprising to you guys. The answer is yeah. He's a 4-division weight champion, world title holder in 4 different weight classes. I know you're going to say, well, who did he beat? At 130, his first world title, as Paulie Malignaggi put it, he beat a guy named Rodriguez who no one's ever heard of, who had to work at the bodega to pay his bills. You know, at 135, he beat DeMarco. That's a reputable name. At 47, he beat Paulie Malignaggi. And at 40, the fight with Paulie Malignaggi at 47 was a bit controversial. We scored it for Paulie by 1 point, by a single point, because we scored around even in that fight. But yeah, that was a 50-50 fight. And then he won a vacant belt at 40. Again, not a world-class resume, but he's a 4-weight division champion. Typically, if you're a 3-weight division champion, you're getting in the Hall of Fame. I can't think of any 3-division weight champions who are Hall of Fame eligible who aren't in the Hall of Fame. Broner's given us a lot of entertaining fights no matter what. He ain't afraid. He'll fight anybody. He really is not afraid. And he's got 4 belts in 4 weight classes. It's what Mikey Garcia's done. So, in reality, even though his resume isn't chock filled with superstars and he doesn't have many elite, he doesn't really have any elite names on his resume, as you call Paulie and DeMarco elite level names. Ashley Theophane, I mean, those aren't elite guys. I mean, they're good fighters, and that's basically what he is. But there are certain requirements in sports, right? In the NBA, if you score 20,000 points, you're getting in the Hall of Fame. In football, if a quarterback wins 2 Super Bowls, Eli Manning, he's getting in the Hall of Fame. Right now, Eli Manning is not better than a lot of other quarterbacks who aren't going to get in the Hall of Fame, but he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. He's getting in. In baseball, 3,000 hits for a hitter, 300 wins for a pitcher. You're getting in the Hall of Fame. In boxing, 3 weight division champion, you're getting in. Especially a 4 division weight champion. A 4 division world champion is getting into the Hall of Fame. And that's what Broner is. I know there's going to be a lot of haters, and you guys are going to talk to me like, well, who did he beat? He's a 4 division world champion. It is what it is. He's getting in. We can say the same thing about Mikey. We can pick apart a lot of people's resumes. 4 division weight champion is a 4 division weight champion. You can't take that away from him. So he's a Hall of Famer. So basically, what we suggest for Broner for moving on from here is to get in Al Heyman's ear, or Al Heyman needs to get in his ear and tell him, look, we need to get you down to 135. We're going to hire Mackie Shillstone for you. We're going to get you on a nutrition program. We're going to work you out. We're going to get you back down to 135, if that's possible. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment below. If you think he can get down to 135, let me know. If you think I'm being absolutely insane, and there's no way that he can get back down to 135, even though he made 138, let me know that as well. Next up, the next topic that we're going to discuss today, Errol Spence to Golden Boy. This is a rumor that just won't go away. Oscar is trying in vain at this point to sign every top fighter. Every top fighter, Oscar says, needs him. Now, Oscar was the Golden Boy. He was the pay-per-view star. And he says that Errol Spence should be fighting for $10, $20 million a fight. And he's not wrong. Look, Errol Spence is a draw. Errol Spence has all of the tools to be making a lot of money. But he really, and not to say the $2 million that he made isn't a lot of money. It is. But not for a guy of that level. He's a great guy. He's personable. You could put Errol Spence on your product. You could put him on a commercial, and you'd be safe that he wouldn't tarnish your reputation. He's a great guy. He doesn't do anything wrong. You don't read about him in the newspaper getting arrested, right? He says the right things, and he's one heck of an action fighter. He does everything right. Plus, his style in the ring is so exciting. This should be a fighter who's making a lot of money, a lot more money than he's making now. And I'm not trying to mine anyone's pocket, but it's the job of the promoter to make him every penny that he can get. So how does Oscar sign Errol Spence? What does he have to? What's his sales pitch? Well, what can he offer him that Al Heyman can't is the question. Because Al Heyman can offer him Danny and Porter and Keith, and that's about it. What can Oscar get him? Well, Oscar can get him a 4-fight deal, and this is our 4-fight plan that Oscar can offer to Errol Spence. And let me know what you think, and what's a better option for Errol Spence. Leave those comments below. Late this year, December of this year, Oscar can get him a fight with Lucas Matisse. That's a good name. It's a decent name, at least. Next year, first half of next year, calls up Eddie Hearn, gets the rematch with Kell Brook. It's a payday. Eddie's going to want to cash out with Kell Brook at some point. This is an opportunity to do that. It's a fight that Brook thinks he can win, which he can't, but he at least thinks he can. We can make the fight at 54 or some catchweight in between. And Errol Spence is completely confident that he can win, and it would be a big payday, because Kell Brook is still a draw, especially in the UK. People like K. He's a good fighter, good name. Certainly someone that Errol Spence has already beaten and would beat again. And it would bring him quite a bit of money. Then, in the second half of next year, go to 154 and fight Jaime Munguia. This would be a big fight in Texas. Golden Boy's got to build up Munguia a little bit, give him another year to do that, have him eat up on guys like Liam Smith and whoever else, get him some knockouts, make him look like this unbeatable prospect, and then you can put Errol in the ring with him at 54. All of that leading up to the mega fight, which is what Canelo is in his ear talking about, saying, sign with me, I'll get you a fight with Canelo. As crazy as it sounds, Errol Spence has already said that he would gladly fight Canelo and that he thinks he could beat Canelo. Well, he would have an opportunity, and I think over 2 years, you build up Spence, you let him fill out naturally, and then you give him the mega fight. Al doesn't have anything that can make him as much money as a mega fight with Canelo could make him. And Oscar offers him that. If he could beat Canelo, he would replace Canelo as the biggest draw in the sport of boxing. He'd be a megastar. He'd be making $20 million a fight like Pacquiao did, like Mayweather did, like Tyson and Holyfield and De La Hoya did. He would be that guy. So the Oscar's got a better long-term plan. Now also consider this. Porter and Danny are tied up with each other. There's not going to be a unification fight between Spence and the winner of that fight this year. If Keith Thurman comes back from maternity leave, he has the first right of refusal. He is the mandatory by the WBC. So if he wants to fight, let's say Keith comes back in October, takes a little tune-up. If he wants to call out the winner of Garcia and Porter, it's his fight. The WBC has told him that he is the mandatory and he would get an immediate fight. He could take that fight, say, March or April of 2019, which would put that fight, the winner of that fight, out all the way for over a year from now, right? So you could potentially have Errol Spence not in a unification fight until the end of 2019. So who's he going to fight in the interim? He wants to stay active, and active means 2 or 3 times a year. Well, then who's he going to fight? If the best that Al can do for him is in 2018 is Peterson, Ocampo, and then Ugas or Vargas, well, I have to see what else is out there. Those are not the names that I want to fight. And there's not much that Al can do. De La Hoya, in that same year span, could get him those 3 names. Realistically, he could get him the fight with Matisse, which is a name. Matisse, especially if Matisse beats Pacquiao, which many expect him to do, if he gets that name, he'll have a great scalp on his resume, and he'll be a draw. It's a great fight. It's an action fight, and it's a fight that Spence will win by knockout. Then he gets in the rematch with Kell Brook, which is a money fight for Spence and a cash out for Brook and Eddie Hearn. And then he fights Munguia, and then all that set him up for the mega fight with Canelo. And win or lose, he's still going to get paid. And Oscar doesn't care who wins that fight, because Oscar wins, because that is a massive, massive payday. That's at that point would be the biggest fight in the sport. And if Spence does win that fight, he's the Marvin Hagler of his era. He's this guy that just the guy that hounds you, that just beats the snot out of you, who can't be beaten. So that's the play that Oscar has to make. Oscar has to make a play where, look, I can get you paid more immediately, and I can build you a legacy, and I can make you a $20 million per fight fighter, just like I did to Canelo. And this is how we're going to do it. It starts with Matisse, it goes to Cal, and then it's Munguia at 54, and then Canelo at 60. Eddie Hearn can't offer you any of that. Eddie Hearn's giving you Ugas and Vargas. Those fights do nothing for your legacy, and they're not getting you paid what you deserve. Now, he has to decide. Errol Spence has to decide what's more important to him. Jumping up in weight classes and becoming a multi-division weight champion. If that's more important to him, then he has to go to Oscar. If he wants to sit back at 47 and unify 47, then stay with Al. But decide for you, which is better for your pocket and which is better for your legacy. Unifying at 47 or moving up to 54 and 60. That's ultimately what it's going to come down to. I'll leave your thoughts, comments below. Let us know what you think about Errol Spence, if he should stay at 47, if he should go to 54 and 60 and move up in weight classes. And let us know if you think this Oscar thing is worth considering, or if you should just ignore Oscar like he's been doing. Again, this is 3D Boxing, checking out for Friday night's check hooks. Please follow us, like, subscribe, leave your comments, and follow us on all forms of social media at 3D Boxing. God bless, and take care.
Enjoy 3D Boxing vlog videos? Show us some love by clicking the like button. Don't miss a tweet, post, story, or video. 3dboxingvlog.com is also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hit the subscribe button now to stay inside the ring.